What's going on? Bay Valley, North Cali, Sacramento, Stockton. You know the whole Bay Valley. We is in here, y'all. I'm talking about a pioneer. And I'm talking about on some other stuff right here. We talking about a DJ. We talking about the man behind the board, you know what I'm saying, at some of your top favorite shows out here. I'm talking about a pioneer who been doing this for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about just the last couple of years. I'm talking about since the 90s, since the late 80s. We gonna go into, we is in here, y'all, with the DJ, no other than my boy, DJ GINO. What's going on with you, my bro?
What's up, family?
Nothing much, man. Just living, man. We appreciate your time, man. Thank you for being here with us.
So yeah, I'm just tapping in. Doors is open, like I said. It's got hot. It's about 94, 95. Digital Underground, 112, Keith Sweat, Naughty by Nature. Oh, Drew Hill and Cisco. This is what it looks like before the magic happened. Like I said, this is our last time outside. Next we'll be in that building. See that big building right there? State of the art, 5,000 seater indoor. No more heat, rain, sun, 2023. All right, y'all. Getting ready here at Thunder Valley. Doors about to open. 10 minutes. Tonight, we got the famous brothers of Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5. Of course, without Michael. Let you guys see what it looked like. Just did my sound check. It's the new venue. It's amazing. Representing the Kings tonight. Salute the DJ.
Yeah, but the way you make it sound, it's like a
Thunder Valley.
No, you're well, yeah. So can you explain it somehow?
I look like I'm about to sing, but I ain't.
We're gonna start off, GINO, man. We're gonna ask, man, where was you born and raised?
I was born in Stockton, the 209 South Side.
Nice, okay. Nice, Stockton. So how was it in Stockton, you know, as a youth, you know, in your elementary years, you know, stuff like that? How was it back then?
It was
and
good.
Can you give us the years too, if you don't mind?
Around the time. I don't want to date myself,
Yeah,
but
you don't have to fully date it, but
early 80s, you
Okay.
know, middle school, high school.
okay.
Graduated in the 80s. I'm gonna leave it at that. You know,
Nice.
I got a little age on me.
So how was it in Stockton during them times?
It was good, man. It was, you know, always a lot of family, friends, good music. I think that's why I became a DJ, because of the music that I grew up with.
Okay.
Of course, you know, we always got our bad areas, and you know, we got our you know, we got things that, like every other city, you know, they got their issues and problems, and I grew up in a lot of that. But you know, I'm here now, and I thank God. I wouldn't change anything. You know, the way I was raised, the way I was born, the people I used to be around, the people that gave me game. So
Real talk. Dope. So you said there was a lot of music and stuff being played. So as a kid, what kind of music was like being played around, you know, you as from your parents and family and stuff like that?
I grew up in church.
Okay.
Mom was literally a pastor.
Wow.
Went to church every Sunday, Wednesday, Bible study, Friday.
Okay.
We went to church a lot. You know, didn't really get a chance to listen to music until I probably started getting into like early middle school.
Okay.
You know, and that's when, you know, I started hearing things like Zap and hearing, you know, remember the first time I heard Rapper's Delight, you know,
Okay.
Curtis Blow, Christmas rap really kind of stuck with me. The beginning of rap, kind of remember it a lot, and the music was good. It was simple, but it still, withstood the test of time. As you see, a lot of it's still getting played and still getting sampled.
For real. Okay, so like in the early, these are like kind of like the mid 80s and stuff like that. You're still in Stockton, right?
Correct.
So you're just kind of like, so now you're becoming part of the hip hop culture as a listener right now. What are you doing? Are you just listening to records? Are you break dancing? Or are you starting to think you're gonna DJ? Yeah. What are you doing this time?
I was
just kind of like listening, feeling the vibe, becoming hip hop.
I was actually in the streets. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And we were back then. Cassettes was really big.
Okay.
And I remember like listening to Run DMC's whole cassette, and you'd flip it over, or the tape would flip it over. Cassette tape. Some of you guys don't know what that is. And we would just, back in them days, remember, you would listen to the whole cassette. You know what I mean? And I always loved music. A lot of the people I grew up around were from like Mississippi.
Okay.
A lot of them migrated from the Bay Area. I still remember Too Short Freaky Tales is something that always is going to be, when I think of, early hip hop, 6 in the Morning, Ice Cube,
Yeah.
LA Dream Team, believe it or not,
Yeah,
they
LA
was,
Dream Team. A lot of people don't mention them, so that's a good one.
correct.
'Cause they're like one of the first.
But that's how, music just started growing on me. A lot of people that I was around. My dad, of course, he wasn't in the church, and he had a cassette, he had an 8-track, and it was Al Green. So I know since we've been together, and anything Al Green I remember, because that's all he would play when we were in the vehicle, was just Al Green. And so that's how I kind of really started growing up with music.
All right. So now you're still in middle school now during the this is out in Stockton still, or what's
Correct.
going on?
Yeah, I'm still in Stockton. One of my best friends lived around the corner from me. He became like a DJ, but back in them days, we was poor DJs. We didn't have like the nice turntables they had. He had one turntable, and he had a cassette player.
Oh, okay.
And he would DJ with the cassette, and then the turntable, and then the turntable had like a little dial on it, and he would do the dial. And we wasn't really mixing. We were just, playing music. And he did all the DJing, him and his brother, at the house parties on the South Side. And that's really when I kind of fell in love with music, was when him and his brother would do the parties, and the way people reacted. And that was back, like I said, in the Roger Zapp days, when Grapevine, and they would kind of literally almost be able to play the whole side of a album, and everything on there was banging. Like One Way, a lot of that, those records back in the day. Tom Brown, Thighs High, Funkin' for Jamaica. A lot of those songs were really, really strong when you would play them. And PYT, I remember the PYT when it first came out with Michael Jackson. So
you're like running with some older guys right now that
Correct.
are DJing, so you're kind of like soaking that game up right then.
Exactly.
Already in the middle school. That's dope. Okay.
Exactly.
So you kind of already was getting braided right then. So let us know a little bit about that.
Well, the one thing that also came out of there was a brother, Brian Sampson. Me and him are still friends to this day.
Dope.
I'm actually repping one of their shirts.
Okay.
He was like the biggest DJ. Him, Mark, and Wayman Hall, they were like these big time DJs back. And we didn't, like I said, we DJing on a one turntable with a dial and a cassette player. These cats got all the bells and whistles. I mean, they parties were like unheard of. You know what I mean? When we were going into high school, they did all the high school parties. They actually started DJing up here. They were so good. They were coming up to Sacramento, doing like the Vortex or something. I can't remember the name of the club. I hope I didn't mess that up, but they were doing some of the clubs here in Sac, and that's how big of DJs they were. And they really, really kind of rubbed off on me, and that's what really kind of made me more want to get into DJing, was just the parties. We would dance all night. I don't even dance anymore, but we would dance all night. And your legs would be hurting at the end of the night when you go home. You know what I'm saying? Go back to home, your legs hurting because you was getting your groove on.
So now these are your high school times right now, and this
Correct.
is what you're doing in high school, dancing and DJing and stuff.
Correct.
That's dope. So where does it start going from there? Like, and what year is this, if you don't mind me asking?
This has got to be like from 82 probably to like 80, probably like 86, 85, wow. 86.
So we're talking about real pioneer DJ times of the hip hop.
Oh man, I still remember Midnight Star, Play Another Slow Jam. Back then, people play slow jams too, so you could get your, get a girl. Hey, can I get this dance? Like the Wood. Remember in the Wood?
Yep.
Like that. So it was more on that kind of type of hype.
That's dope. So that's real pioneer stuff for the hip hop
Yes.
scene. So that's dope. So where does it start going from there? Like any stories you want to tell us about high school, or do you want to start? Are we going where we going from there?
Basically from there, like I said, I had a love for music, but I was kind of, like I said, I was trying to be in the streets, and being in the streets, you start doing the wrong things, and I kind of started getting caught up and, messing up, doing some things I shouldn't have been doing, and, I wind up, doing a little time when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but you learn. So I wind up, me and my partners, this guy I met, we wind up coming to Sacramento, and this had to be like 86, 87, and we started coming down to Sacramento, and he knew some people up here, and we started kind of hanging out with him, and I was like, we kind of like this. And then they had this thing called Black Family Day at UC Davis.
Oh yeah.
Man. And like I said, I'm single, I'm 19 years old, I'm not even old enough to get in the club. We would come down here, and that was like, I just remember seeing all these people and all different nationalities, and everybody just cool, and the vibe was cool, and everybody wearing gazelles, and and everybody, that was like, you gotta have your fit, you know what I mean? And that's what kind of made us move up here to Sacramento, was just the people. There were a lot of women here, man. I'm married now, but I'm just saying, like back then it was the women, man, and just the people. Everybody up here was really cool. It was a bigger city. Growing up in Stockton, it wasn't that big. Up here,
back then too.
Yeah, definitely. And up here, it was more. Seemed like it was more opportunity, more things going on, and not trying to be so much getting into trouble.
Oh, okay. Oh, dope. So so you moved to Sacramento in 86, 87.
87.
87. What do you start doing from there when you come to Sac? What you working? What you doing?
I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Did you put DJ stuff down there?
No, we started. I didn't purchase a turntable. My boy bought me my first turntable, I want to say probably in 88, 89.
Okay.
Maybe 89.
Yeah.
He bought me my first turntable, and then we started, of course, I started going, like back then they had a bunch of Tower Records. Here.
Yeah.
I remember the one on Broadway and the one on Florin that's now Mix Institute was where they had all the records. And then we had, of course, went to the Bay to Leopold's. I can't remember the other place we would go to get the records from, but that was like the big thing, was buying music back then, getting them 12 inches and albums. Some of the songs, some of the records I bought back in the day, I just bought them just the way the cover looked. You know what I mean? Like back then they were very, had booties on them or whatever. You'd be like, oh, this already had their gold chains on. You'd be like, this look hot. I don't even know if it's good or not.
For real. I purchased a few records back in the days like that.
Exactly.
Just off the cover.
The marketing was good for somebody like me, coming up trying to figure out what I want to do,
For real. So that's dope. So you're collecting records and, in the late 80s and stuff. And is that starts building that passion back up for DJing, or?
Oh, definitely. I started DJing. Well, practicing a little bit. I was practicing because I only had one turntable, right? I'm trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? Nobody really showed me how to do it. I just was trying to learn. I think every DJ, when they first start out, what's the first thing they do? Learn how to what? Scratch.
Yeah.
So eventually, I was hanging out with these young ladies in the Thomas, and one of them was like, hey, she's like, you think you could do my party? She said, I know you DJ, and I think by this time I might have had 2 turntables. And I was like, I was a little skeptical. I was like, no, I think I could do your party. Man, that's when I realized, because like I said, when you first start out, all you know how to do is scratch. You just learn how to scratch, and you ain't even scratching that good. You just, you hear the guys going, it's time, trying to do that kind of stuff and scratching all in the songs. And I just remember the whole night I'm just scratching and couldn't mix a record or whatever. And I just remember it was just like, it wasn't cool. And that's when I realized there was more to DJing than just scratching, learning how to play music. And that taught me that taught me a big lesson, man.
You get the party going, the DJ gets it rocking,
Man.
For real. So that's dope. Okay, so you did your first house party. This is like in your young.
This had to be like 91 probably.
And you're
90
like,
or 91.
Old, like 19, 20.
I'm probably like 20, probably, because I couldn't, because back then there was this club in on Arton Way was cracking. It was Cocoa Palms.
Okay.
And man, it was parking lot pimping. That's what we used to call it, because I wasn't old enough to get in the club. So every Wednesday before the club let out, everybody just started, especially because I used to kind of hang out in the Heights. So the Heights was really closer to Arton.
Yeah.
So we would just go over there and pull the cars in. Everybody be out there just kicking it and chilling. And that was parking lot pimping back in the day.
That's dope. So now you DJ'd your first house party, kind of, you got your turntables now, you're collecting your music. Where do things start going from there?
I want to say we started, you're trying to make a name for yourself so people can hire you, you know what I mean? Because if they, when you first start out, it's like you almost got to DJ for free because nobody know who you are, so you got to kind of show who you are to get people to want to, give you some money. Like I said, to be honest with you, I never knew that there was no money in DJing.
Wow.
By this time I had my first son. No, I take that back, my second son. And I remember my son's mom, she was on me. She was like, you need to get a job because, that's a hobby. That's not that's not a gig. You know what I mean? You need to get a job and some benefits. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But I wasn't really listening to her because I really liked what I was doing. But like I said, it really wasn't no money back into it back in the day. Cats says you'd be lucky if you got $100, $150.
Yeah. No, that's true. It can be, but it's always a need for DJs, though. You're right, though. So that's dope. So, all right, you putting all them together. When do you end up doing your next gig? When's your next gig come along?
I want to say I started trying to, I know I did some house parties. The first thing you start doing is weddings. People hire you for weddings, and never been a big fan of weddings, even though me and my wife have a big wedding business.
Oh, wow.
But I just wasn't really into the weddings because weddings is more, you're not really DJing until at the end. You're kind of playing the songs that they want to hear and trying to make sure that they go perfect with their list that they gave you. And so I started doing weddings, and that's how I started making a little bit of money. But I want to say the first time was me hooking up with some of my partners to DJ, and we started trying to do a club.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we tried to do a club over off of Watt Avenue.
Oh, it's okay.
It was called I believe it was called the Red Apple. It's a hotel now, but it was on the corner of Watt and I-80, right there on.
And this is about you guys DJs as collectively coming together to
Right.
rent the spot and throw it, or y'all was just DJing?
We actually came together, me and this other cat named I believe it was DJ Young Will.
Okay.
Will Hammock. We came together, and a couple other people. We started trying to do the club. But I want to say before that, I was getting asked to DJ. No, it was after that. I don't want to jump the timeline. It was after that when I started getting asked to DJ for, like, of course, the hip hop groups be wanting you, like, hey man, can you DJ for me, and something like that. So
Okay.
that's kind of how that came about too.
Oh, dope. So okay, so you guys are running that. What year was this?
This had to be like 90, 91, probably like 91.
Oh wow, okay. So yeah, early still in the scene and stuff. So what was them shows cracking? You guys, not shows, but those parties was cracking for you guys. A lot of people were showing up.
They actually kind of shocked me because people were showing up and a lot of people were coming. But at that age, I remember I'm younger too, so I got a younger crowd. And Sacramento always been known for, people getting mad at each other or stepping on somebody's foot. I don't know. They just be having fights and stuff. You know what I mean? When you playing that style of music, because it's younger back in them days. So I don't even remember what I might have been playing. Maybe NWA, Eazy-E. Probably had to be Eazy-E. More on that level, because that was like gangster music back in the day with Short and.
Oh yeah. That's where it was, right? That was the music right there. Okay, so dope. So how long do you guys end up doing this for? Do you guys do this for a while or what?
I think I did it for a while, but I think what really kind of maybe we kind of started having too many problems with the clubs, and I didn't really want to be down with somebody getting hurt or getting sued because we ain't had no insurance. We just throwing parties. If somebody get hurt, they be trying to sue you now.
Oh wow.
So luckily nobody never got hurt. But I believe at the same time one of my partners came up to me. We and him are best friends now, and he was like, "Hey, I want you to DJ these college parties for me. And I was like, college parties? He's like, yeah, man, you know, you got to come check it out. And that's what really kind of made me start getting my name out there, is when I started doing the UC Davis parties in Davis for the Sigmas.
Oh, wow, yeah, that'll do it right there. Them college parties.
Man, they were wild. They actually were called booty ups.
Oh, wow.
But I'm talking like 2,000 or 3,000 people showing up. We were renting Dixon County Fairground. I think we went to Chico a couple of times, and you know, they have their own followings, and that really kind of changed my life as far as me getting out there to be a DJ, like people knowing who I am and making, you know, your name is everything, you know.
Yeah, Davis and Chico, yeah, them is two college towns, party towns too, especially Chico. So
man, it was wild.
That's dope. How long were you doing that for?
I did that for a couple of years.
Oh, okay, so that starts getting you. So now what's going on your name? And what years is this?
This is probably party? This had to be like 92, 93, 94.
So still early,
yeah,
okay,
somewhere in them, somewhere in there. We were. It might have even been in the 90s. I don't know. It could have been from 90 to 94, 95.
Okay.
But I really started the college party, man. That college scene was everything. And then, like I said, I'm probably like 22 years old by then, you know what I mean? So it's everybody young too, so it was probably the most fun I ever had.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, so now I know there's a couple now, I don't know if it's later on in life, so if it is, we'll just wait to it, because I know you were kind of dealing with some artists too, like when you're DJing for some artists and things like that at that time?
Correct. Homicide.
Homicide?
Rest in peace, Homicide.
Okay. And what year were you DJing for Homicide?
It had to be in the 90s, somewhere in there.
Around that same time that
same,
we're at
but
right
like
now?
yeah, the same time when I'm doing the college stuff, you know,
Okay.
I had met him. I think I met him through my family member, Psychotic from Oak Park,
Okay.
Daryl Williams.
Okay.
I met him through him, and we started kind of working together. You know what I mean? And he was really starting to make some noise here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, we got asked to do to open up. I want to say it was for Public Enemy or it was LL Cool J. It was one of them, and it was in Stockton at the Civic Auditorium.
Oh, okay.
And I remember we went down there, and you know, we had been practicing our scene, and it was him and Jermaine and YB. Rest in peace, YB.
And the Gangster Lean was written over, if y'all didn't know.
Right, right. So we were in, I never forget, we were backstage getting ready, you know, and hyped. I think the concert was sold out, you know what I mean? And they back there, you know, they got Jerry curls too. And Jermaine, I know you probably remember this. They were back there spraying each other curls, trying to get it all whipped up, because, you know, that was the curls. Everybody had the NWA curls. And we was hyped, man. We was ready. I remember we was ready. I was so ready. I'm like, man, we finna open up. You know, this is gonna be so dope. And I'll never forget, the management or the police department came in and told us that we couldn't perform. And they said, because, you know, Homicide, even though he was from the park, I guess he was from the park, and Jermaine and them, they was considered Bloods. And they felt like with Stockton, at that time was probably a lot of Crips, and they felt like it was going to be some big escalation. So they were like, we can't let you guys perform. It'll probably be a riot in here. And we like, dude, we just want to do our music. And they was like, no, so they actually made us leave. They followed us and escorted us to the freeway.
Wow.
And we didn't get to perform. So that was, you know, with Homicide too, you know, after that, you know, we had been working together doing some events, and he was like, he had wanted me, because at the time, my DJ name, I think it was like DJ Genius or something, you know what I mean? Because, you know, GINO Genius or something, you know, and he was like, man, you know, we kind of like out there, I want you to change your name. And I said, what you want me to change my name to? He said, DJ Switchblade. Trying to fit the group, you know what I mean? And I was like, nah, bro, I'm cool on that. I can't, you know, back that up. Because Said Singh was in the room with us too from Black Market. He was like, yeah, man. I was like, nah, man, I'm cool. I ain't even trying to be all like that. But and then, you know, be a switchblade, I better be hella tight, you know. But I was thinking more like on the gangster tip, you know what I mean? That's what I think they were shooting for. Right, exactly. I don't even own a knife.
That's dope, though.
Right.
So you were doing homicide, anybody else?
Player P.
Player P, okay.
Yeah, I got hooked up with Player P probably like right after that. I think because we just kind of clicked. He was really cool. Me and him, that his cousin was Daryl, the same dude, hooked me up with him, and I felt like he had a lot of talent. I really liked his style back then. You know, he was kind of ahead of his time. You know, like when you hear artists, you know, some dudes can rap, but then some dudes can't rap. But his style was kind of dope to me, and the women loved him. You know what I mean?
He was actually the first rapper that I've heard of out of Sac. He was the first one that
Really?
I personally heard. And after that, it was Homicide. I remember seeing Homicide's record and stuff.
It might have been reversed. I don't know. I can't remember. It might have been Homicide. Or might have been Player P first or Homicide, but they were both. They actually hung out together too.
Yeah.
So we all hung out together. So
Yeah.
that was like a really big deal for me. We had went to the Bay Area. I was with Player P, and we actually had got signed to a label. I can't remember the label name. It was a popular label out of the Bay Area, and back then, if you got signed, they had to give you like $10,000. That was like the minimum to make sure that you were signed to the label.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in studio, we would go down there and started working in the studio. And, you know, we were, you know, I like I said, I don't know, something about being in that studio all the time. Like, you know, like if you ever been in a studio, it's just like, you listen to the same song over and over and over. And then you go back and like, hey, did you hear that? This don't sound right. You know, and back then they would mix it to a cassette and run out and put it in the car and listen in the car and be like, oh, this don't sound good, let's go back. Because the theory is if it sounds good in the car, it's going to sound good when you put it in a bigger system.
Yeah. For the most part, it is, though. Especially when most people listen to their music in the car anyway.
Right, exactly. Because, you know, back then everybody was listening in the cars. You know, they didn't have the
Ear Hal with the slap in the trunk.
Exactly.
For real. That's dope. Okay, so during this time, man, you're DJing for all the colleges around the area, pretty much. You got two of the biggest local artists, which Homicide ended up getting signed a Priority and all that type of stuff too. So you DJing for, you know, some top artists coming up out of SAC and everything. Where do things start going from there? Now you're starting to build your resume.
After that, I started, I can't remember, one of my, I think it was Diamond D, Dennis Seeley. He had came to me and he was like, man, I'm working at this station down in Stockton called Kwin. He was like, and they're having a mix show contest to hire mixers. And he says, man, I think you should try to enter it. And if you enter it, you can wind up getting a job, you know, on the station. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna try it out. So I went to my boy, this cat named Leo, aka H Wood, and me and him had been working together in the studio too. I've been working with him, and I asked him to help me. So back in them days, we 4-tracked our mixes. So when you 4-tracked it, that's why the mixes was so much doper, because, you know, I could have an instrumental playing on here, a acapella on here, a scratch on here, and another beat coming in, and make it, you know, it was a lot of production to do it. To make a long story short, he helped me, we did it, I won the contest. I wound up becoming a mixer on 97.7, 98.3 Kwin in Stockton. That was my first job in radio. That probably had to be like 96, 97.
Okay. Oh yeah, so you're working for Kwin's a dope station. I like Kwin, truthfully, to this day. They be bumping.
Man, that was my first radio gig.
And that's dope. So you're mixing on air.
Correct.
Okay, it's dope. So what's going on during these times? Like, where's your time slots, or what else are you doing with the station?
Well, back then everything was pre-recorded. They didn't let us come in and mix, so we had to pre-record it. And man, it was a pain to pre-record. I think I was doing maybe just an hour, and even with an hour, you know, with your 4-tracking, you gotta put the mix together. You mess up, you gotta stop or whatever. So I hated, you know, doing the pre-recorded stuff, but that was a must. We had to. Then it was on DAT. Back then they had the DATs, and so we had to take it on DAT. I would have to drive it to Stockton, take it. Yeah, exactly, man. It was like But then,
but that was cool though, I guess, in a way too. You just didn't have to waste your time being there, whatever. You just drop off the tape or whatever.
It still was a pain though. I might as well been there, you know what I mean, instead of doing all that.
You're driving out there, yeah, you're right.
but that was the first time I ever got experience of dealing with the record labels.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Learning that, you know, they start sending you the vinyl, you getting the exclusive 12 inches, you know, because everything was on wax back then. Everybody was
What
spinning
year
on
is
wax.
this during this
Like I
time?
said, this had to be 96, 97.
97, okay.
And they, you know, I remember the first time I went out to lunch with the reps, you know, they pay for everything, you know, because you're playing their songs on the radio, so they want you to keep playing their songs. So they would take us out to eat and, you know, send you like jackets, all kind of little cool gear, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say right after that, I want to say it was Tosh. Tosh had hit me up.
DJ Tosh.
And they were doing a 103.5 The Bomb, KBMB The Bomb, and he was like, man, we got a open slot, you know, would you be interested in getting in on The Bomb? And I think Ebro and them had just started it, and it was really a good thing for me, so that way I didn't have to go to Stockton no more with Kwin. Because like I said, that was just kind of like a pain. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but driving down there, you know, like, and this is
resume right there.
Right, this is right here. So I wind up going to The Bomb, and that really kind of changed my life
So
when I
you
went to The Bomb.
at the beginning stages.
Correct.
This is 97?
Probably like
98?
97, 98.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, dope.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're DJing from The Bomb, man. Let us know about that and what was going on.
It was different. Everybody was listening. You know, it was locally. Everybody could hear it. The signal was strong.
Yeah, y'all used to bump, boy.
Man, I'm trying to think who was all on there. I think E had already, he had left. He had got it started, Ebro, and then he had left. And I know Mixler was a big part of it. Reese Roundtree, rest in peace, Reese Roundtree.
Oh, yeah.
Tone Pesh was on there with me. DJ Ja Lil. I say Craig G. It was a lot of us.
Freeze was on there.
Yeah, Freeze.
Yeah.
He was also, Freeze. He was on there.
That was a bro right there.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people on there. It was so cool because it was black owned, and they really kind of let us do what we wanted to do when it came to music. Like, they kind of trusted us, you know what I mean? It wasn't so much as how radio is now, where they tell you what to play, or everything is, scripted out. It's nothing is coming off the head.
Yeah, real talk. And that was a dope station. So, man, any stories you could share with us around them times? Some of the things that was going on? 'Cause, that was a big explosion for Sacramento during that time.
My time at The Bomb, really, at that time I was going through a lot of issues and stuff, and it wasn't really stable, and I had some issues at the station, like I said, people, I'm gonna keep it 100, there's a couple people there that didn't really care for me, you know what I mean? So, it wasn't a good time and it wasn't a bad time, but it was cool being a part of that crew. I could say that I was a part of those cats, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You was just doing the air stuff? Were you doing
No, I was just
shows
strictly
and stuff
mix
like
shows.
that?
Strictly mix shows.
Mix shows? Okay.
I never wanted to be on the air for some reason. It wasn't until I went to the other
Mix
station.
shows meaning like what your music was just getting played.
Yeah,
in the
I'm
time
mixing.
period,
I'm mixing, right.
The late night show? Or?
Late nights.
Okay, oh yeah.
5 o'clock traffic, sometimes they would let
Okay.
you come in, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so how long did you do that for?
For 2 years.
For 2 years?
hmm
Okay, that's a good minute. So now, man, you got Kwin under your belt now. You got The Bomb under your belt now. Where does everything start going from there?
Well, like I said, I had some people there that didn't, that were kind of like, anytime you in the business, there's always people that's trying to, like crabs in a barrel, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
Trying to pull you down.
yeah, they wind up. It was weird because they was like, "Hey, man, we're gonna let you go. We got somebody else or something. I don't know what it was. They were just like, we have too many DJs. You're gonna be one of the DJs that we cut." The crazy thing about it, I was kind of hurt, but the crazy thing about it was Charlie Ramos and Joey Mix and Muzz were at 102. They called me that same evening, and they was like, "Hey, man, we heard that they let you go. Do you want to come over to 102?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" And they was like, "Yeah." I was at 102 the next day at 5 o'clock mix.
That's crazy. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, your resume, man, you already had it moving. You went from Kwin to The Bomb, and now you're on Sac's premier longevity station. And then That's dope. So where does things start going from there now? You're doing the 5 o'clock mix now for 102.5?
Yeah, so they had I can't remember what the mix show, not the mix show director, but the PD, because he had talked to me, and at that time 103 was killing 102. Like they numbers was like,
hip-hop,
oh man, they numbers was like really high. So he was like, look man, we want you to come in, you can play whatever you want, and just do you. You know, we need a change. And I said, oh okay, cool. I remember that lasted for 2 weeks, and then he came in there and he was like, man, I think it was Bob Thomas was the PD. I believe it was Bob Thomas. He came in there and was like, man, what are you doing? You can't play this or whatever. You know, whatever. You know, you just told me I could play this. And he was like, nah. So then it started kind of changing, and then he wind up getting fired, and they got a new program director. Came in, Byron Kennedy.
Oh yeah.
And he came in. That had to be at like 2001. I want to say about 2001. And he came in and he kind of just changed the whole thing. And he understood radio, and he really trusted us as DJs. And he gave us the correct tools that we needed to do it. You know what I mean? They had nice equipment. We had like all state of the art everything. So it was really easy to work. And we mixed live, which I really liked anyway, because I hated pre-recording. You know, I never liked pre-recording. Always played live. It's just easy. I think I'm lazy.
So who were some of the other DJs that was working during that time? I know Mixela was there and stuff like that. And
well, he wasn't. I'm trying to think. He was at 103 with me. He might have left already, if I'm not mistaken, and he was at 103. But the person that was with me was, as far as the mix shows, was DJ Stefan.
I don't know what Mixela was doing, because I know he was there like in 02.
He might have came back or something. I can't remember, because you know what? You're right. He did come back, because we did a cruise with them.
The intern with y'all.
Yeah, yes, he did come back. You're right. He came back in 2000 and probably, like you said, 2. But I was there. I got hired in 2. I remember it was 2000.
Okay.
But the people that was there was, like I said, it was like Davey D, Big Al, Rascal. The mixers was DJ Stefan, Charlie Ramos.
Okay.
DJ Alizawi came in.
Alizawi.
I can't remember, man. I'm so sorry if I forget some of the names, but those are the ones that just stick with me right now. Because we had a lot of DJs come in, but you know, being there for the period, like I said, I was at 102 from 2000 to 2015.
Okay.
That's kind of unheard of.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
That's a blessing. So kind of, you know, break some of that down, you know what I'm saying, being with that station for that long and just everything that was going on. Any stories you could share with us, you know, kind of like give us, you know, put us on that trip right there from the early stages, kind of, you know, bring us through.
Well, when we first started, it was still new to me. Like I said, they were corporate. We were owned by CBS back then, and I believe back then CBS owned MTV, and so we used to have like all kind of like prizes and stuff, you know what I mean? And it was kind of cool to be able to get, you know, tickets to the concerts, you know what I mean, and go out to the you know, like doing the street hits and go out and do the clubs. And we started doing the cruises. We started doing this thing called Big Enchilada. Wow, that was a big orgy, pretty much.
Oh wow.
Not like that, but it was very close, and it was wild.
Radio's freaking it up.
Oh man, I remember the first one I ever did. 50 Cent in the club was the hottest song out, and they did this Bon Voyage party, and everybody that came on the ship had a 102 pass on, and the pass would say single or ready to mingle, or you'd have it checked. And I remember Davey D and Mixela. They came out.
Davey D, oh yeah, I remember.
They came out with these big bags full of beads, and I'm playing 50 Cent, you know, go shorty, it's your birthday, and everybody just started partying, and Mix and Davey D made this big grand entrance with Mardi Gras beads, and just started throwing them out in the audience, and all the women started taking off their shirts.
Oh.
And I'm in there like, go shorty, like I couldn't even focus. I was like, what is happening here? You know what I mean? It was the wildest. It was so crazy, man. We did it. I think they did it for like 3 years, and after a while, it just got too crazy. and a lot of the I think we took like 2,000 people with us, and the ship only hold like 2,800. And some of the other people that were there with their families started complaining. You know what I mean? They was like, I got my children with me, and because they was turning up. Man.
Why would you even hear? You shouldn't have came to this thing.
Well, they didn't know. You know what I mean? They just kind of. Excuse me. They just kind of came. They just kind of came in, and like it was wild. I think one time, Davey and Mix, I want to say they threw all their furniture out the window on the cruise ship.
Wow.
Exactly. That's how wild it was. It was. I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was some of the best times.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine being with them cats too, part of that whole.
Man, it was.
That was crazy.
It was
David
wild.
D was a cool cat too. I chopped it over with him a couple times.
Yeah, I think he in Fresno now.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's in Fresno doing a show.
Because I ain't seen him in a minute.
I think he be DJing too. Somebody was telling me, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
Because I think Mixer is like in Texas or something like that. Or something.
I believe he back in California.
Is he? Okay.
I think he might be in the Bay somewhere. I'm not for sure.
Okay.
I believe he came back because he left with Apple and he came back to Apple out here.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
That's dope. Man, so okay, any other stories you could let us know about them FM 102 times and stuff? Kind of break down the journey a little bit.
There was a lot of good times.
Show some of the people that you met, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, we met everybody.
Some of the things you were doing for some of these artists and the shows and stuff. Like,
oh, man, we met everybody. I met everybody from Rihanna when she first started out to Young Jeezy to... The only person I never met that I wanted to meet was Mariah Carey.
Oh,
that's why I wanted to meet her back in the day. I thought she was cool, right? Got to talk on a conference call with her.
Okay.
But that was about it. Never got to meet her in person. She never came to the station. I'd have been right there.
What are some of the things you were doing with these artists?
Were you
DJing? Were you doing engineering? Were you?
No, we would basically just go in and they would cut us drops. Of course, like I still have a couple of them.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this is this is Lil Mo. I'm with DJ GINO in the mix. They would do drops and.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna share that with y'all, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a bunch of them I could send you.
Oh
yeah. They would come in and we would greet them, or sometimes the label. They would take us out to dinner with them, which was really cool. I went out to dinner one time, I'll never forget, with Jim Jones. And we was at Joe's Crab Shack. And he's sitting in there with I want to say at least $1 million worth of jewelry. I'm sitting next to him, and I mean, it was blinding me, bro. I'm sitting there dang, this cat, and I think he was by himself. You know what I'm saying? He came in there, but he was cool as hell. He was cool. Angie Martinez, I went to dinner with her before.
Okay.
I was kind of feeling Angie Martinez. I was like, man, she kind of cool. She was so nice, though. She was really, really nice. But they would take you out to dinner with the artists. You know what I mean? They would even, back in the day, I had the opportunity to fly out to go see Jay-Z's. I want to say it's the Blueprint album. Is that what's the name of it?
Yeah, I know that was one of his albums.
Yeah, they would fly you out. Janet Jackson would fly out to L.A. to her listening party when she did... what's the one That's the Way Love Goes was on that album. They would fly you out to listening parties and you would get to meet with the artists and listen to their music and tell them what you thought because, Sacramento was, I think we're market 28, 29. And so it's still considered a big market, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Market, of course, market 1, New York, market 2, LA. That's how it worked. Denver market, 16. I think Sacramento's 28 or 29.
It's like in the middle or something.
Right, but it's still better. There's some stations that are still in the hundreds. You know what I mean? We still have a big population. We still, made a dent in music.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know Sac, influencing and help them gather information about music. You see that interview with Cat the other day saying how he kind of started. Sac.
Yeah, he said he lived there for 2 years. I was like, wow.
Yeah, a couple of the homies got some footage with him too. During them times. That's crazy. That's dope, man, for real. So, man, you're meeting all these people, man. You're flying places, doing it, man. How are you feeling, you know what I'm saying? You feeling accomplished as a DJ during this time, or?
I was kind of more just happy to, you just don't even really think about it. It's just, you're just going with the flow. You're thinking man, I just love what I do. And, if you get accolades, you get them. If you don't, you don't. But you just want to make sure you do the best that you can do. And one thing about DJing is competition. So when anybody would, they would always hire new DJs. I remember they hired this one cat, and we friends to this day, DJ Blend.
Oh, okay.
He was out of the Bay Area. I think he came from Cameo, and man, when we heard him mixing, we was like, oh my God, this cat is on fire. So it made us have to step our game up, and that's one thing about the business. You always gotta step your game up. You know, if not,
full of lots of talent. You're right.
Right.
That's dope. But you were doing it. You know, you were one of those guys. You know, that's dope. So kind of like, all right. So now so FM 102 ended in 15. You said? Or?
Yeah, 2015 or 2016.
So where does things start going from there now? Because it's like, okay, now.
Well, with me, I always had a job. You know what I mean?
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. I work for the city of Sacramento.
Okay.
So I always had a job because in the radio business, it's like you always had to work for the PD is like God. And when he would say something, and I seen him check some people before, I seen people crying, like because they lost their job. Like in radio, if you remember, I don't know if you ever experienced that or not, but when he tell you something or do something like this, my station, you do what I tell you to do. If not, hit the road. And they like little celebrities, pretty much, the on air people. So when if they lose their job, they not playing nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
you might have to go out of town.
Right. So I always kind of kept a job, and I always felt like I wanted to have other things going on. You know, so I had always had a bunch of DJ equipment. So I started getting into doing sound, like live sound for shows. You know what I mean? Because I felt like one day I'm gonna be old. I ain't gonna be able to DJ no more. I could still have a part of it, you know, doing the live sound.
Mm-hmm. That's dope.
You know, some people.
So you started investing into doing live sounds at.
Yeah, I started buying equipment. Yeah, okay. I started buying it. I might have been doing it before then, experimenting, messing up people's shows. Hey, that's how you learn. I messed up some people's shows. I ain't even gonna front.
Oh, wow.
I remember the first show I ever did. It was at Rancho Aurora. It was a gospel show, and it was so much feedback you would have thought that was part of the song.
Oh, wow.
Beep, 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 beep. And I was like, man, what am I doing? The lady yelling at me, you know, because I thought you ever see people buy equipment and don't know how to use their equipment?
Get away from the speaker.
No, don't even know how to use their equipment. You know how you buy equipment? Because I thought I was going to be the next Dr. Dre at one time. I went and bought me a drum machine, and I was like, oh, yeah. And, man,
you were producing?
Man, I couldn't figure out what the quantize was.
Oh, damn.
I'm just saying, like, you know, that equipment ain't like what you got to learn and know your equipment. And I didn't really know my equipment, so I crashed and burned a lot before I really started developing. I started asking questions. I started, you know, learning, talking to other people like, hey, how do you do this? Or, you know, show me this. And, you know, that's how, you know, I learned, crash and burn.
Yeah,
kind of like the first DJ gig I did. I crashed and burned, scratched and burned.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Okay, so now, boom, all right, now, so you got your equipment going, you're DJing. Where does everything start going there? You start booking shows and stuff with that? And...
Slowly. We started growing, you know, we started, you know, you got to let people know that you know what you're doing, because back then there was still a lot of people, and some of the people that's from back then are still doing it to this day, and they on a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? So it's very expensive to be in the sound game. Like I said, a good board, a digital board will hit you for like 75 racks. That's $75,000. Yeah. But it's very expensive. You know, being a minority in it is definitely hard. You know what I mean? You don't see too many minorities. You'll see them running the boards, but you don't see them owning the company. And that's something that I've always tried to do, is employ minorities, and you know, just I believe in what I do. You know what I'm saying? So definitely started growing. I'm still growing. I'm still trying to get to the next level, as you say. Some people say, you at that level? I'm like, no, I ain't even close.
Yeah. But you got a nice step, you know what I'm saying? A nice step.
Right.
That's dope. So now, so you've been doing that. That's what you've been doing now all this whole time, just kind of like doing that. Let us know some of the, you know, shows and gigs that you've been doing.
Man, I didn't work with, you name it. There's so many people I don't even like write them down no more. But I've worked with, just off the head recently, Drew Hill, Bobby Valentino, Surface, Regina Bell, Karen White. I'm trying to think. John B. You know, just you name it. I've been able to work with Nelly.
Okay.
I've been able to work. You know,
where some of the venues you were doing these at?
A lot of the venues people hire me out, but some of them I've been able to work with is at Thunder Valley. I've been in Thunder Valley, I want to say almost 11 years now.
Okay.
and it's blessed me to be able to meet people and work with some of the greats. They done brought people in. Like I just did a show recently with Denise Williams,
Okay.
which is like one of my favorite artists. She's an R&B, old school, 70s, 80s artist, and it was a blessing to work with her. You know what I mean? I love working with the old school people for some reason. Just
No, for real.
like the
I
new
mean, that's
people
the
is
music,
cool,
man. That's the
but
music, man.
sometimes working with the people that where it come from, knowing where the music come from is
Exactly.
like the emotions. I did a show with the emotions. I think the lead singer's still alive, but the two sisters have passed away. But she has her nieces singing with her, and I was just blown away. You know what I mean? I did a show with Bloodstone. Then I got a show coming up with Keith Sweat. I worked with him a lot. We did something with Ready for the World, and then we do the hip hop shows, the Naughty by Nature, and I've worked with Kid Capri like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, nice.
You name it.
And you're doing the sound, right?
No, I'm actually doing the intermission between. Every once in a while, they will, if they need somebody to run the monitors, I'll get asked
So
to
you're
do the
the
sound.
DJ in between the
Hey,
intermission?
yes.
Oh, dope.
Yes.
Okay.
Or opening. I open and do the intermission.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And then I work for the people that do the show, so sometimes they will have me help do the production on the show, and that's making sure everybody get to their flights, or making sure everybody show up, or knowing what time they supposed to get off the stage. So that's been a blessing. And like I said, I've met everybody. I DJ'd. I've actually been. I can send you the pictures. I was Kid and Plays DJ for a couple of shows.
Nice.
I DJ with Houdini. Me and Jalil are still cool to this day. Ecstasy passed away.
Yeah.
That was a big shock. You know what I mean? I DJ'd a couple of times for J King for Club Nouveau.
Oh,
I
yeah.
DJ'd a couple of their shows. But I've worked with from Morris Day from the Time to
That's my guy right there.
Confunction. You know what I mean? Like, man, it's been a blessing. Like I say, to meet the people and see them. Midnight Star. Like I said, I was a big fan of them growing
kind of
up.
sharing the stage with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You are sharing the stage with him. Not kind of, you are.
Right. So that's definitely been a plus. Like I said, I've been blessed beyond measures.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. That's stupid, bro. Anything, you know what I'm saying, that we might have left out throughout the years, that we haven't got a chance to tell people that you like to share with the people?
The clubs, being a part of, I got to be DJing for, DJing. I got to DJ for Rancho Roar.
Okay.
Which is one of the big clubs here in Sacramento to kind of put Sacramento on the map.
Yeah.
It was like the Bay Area Silks, but it was Sacramento was the ranch. I mean, everybody came there from DJ Quick to X Clan to they used to do Def Comedy Jam there because that's how big it was in the back area with the tennis courts because it was enclosed.
Okay.
So that was like really, really big. Friends, the Rusty Duck, big shout out to Vogue Entertainment. They definitely helped me get on the map too. Just being a part of, like a lot of stuff going on here in Sacramento. Martin Luther King weekend, which is coming up, used to always really, really be big because it had, it was a 3-day weekend and they would rent out these big halls and throw these parties and it would just be some of the best parties ever, you know what I mean? Because nobody had to go to work the next day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That makes it good.
So we throw the party on Sunday night. Everybody was off Monday. Man, there it is.
You get to sleep.
Man, just, definitely, it's been a ride, you know what I mean? And I'm still riding,
Yeah, what are some of the things you got going that you can let the people know that you might?
Well, like I said, I know I got that Keith Sweat concert coming up. I think it's after 7. I can't remember who else is on the ticket. Oh, Montel Jordan.
Okay.
And then me and my wife are actually flying out to, Phoenix next Friday to do a big show out there, like a kind of NBA party, because one of the guys that's doing it is in the NBA. So they're flying us out there. I'm kind of looking forward to that. And let me just say something about my wife too. I got married.
You got a wife too, and then for the people who don't know, she's a power player herself out here in Sacramento. Let the people know a little bit about her.
Yeah, man. My wife is an actress, a model, an attorney.
Oh wow.
she pretty much, we laugh about the attorney, but she's an advocate and she's always fighting for somebody, and you know, she wins all her cases. But she's like the best thing that ever happened to me. We got married in 2015. She's in the business. She's been in a couple of but she's been in a couple of national commercials.
Okay.
She's auditioned and been in a couple of movies, but just little clips. You know, she's on her way. I know she's about to.
Let the people know who she is.
Nikisha Henry, man,
Okay.
that's my wife. Big shout out to you, honey. Wasn't trying to say low, I meant high. But she's been, you name it, you see her on all kind of stuff. She's always doing a lot of national spots. She do a lot of voiceovers too. She was in Dog Days. You know, that's her voice in there. Is it Doug Days or Dog Days? Edit that if I didn't do it right. I think it's Doug Days or Dog Days. I think it's Doug Days. Please edit that. But she's been in a bunch of different shows. She was just on a show with Johnny Knoxville and the lady that played Precious.
Okay.
You know, that aired. She's been in a lot of things, so she's definitely been a plus for me, and she's definitely gonna be. You're gonna see her sometime soon on your TV set.
That's dope. How long you guys been married?
We've been married since 2015, so I think we're going on 9 years.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys might be in the top 10, man, of Sacramento power couples, possibly, as far as in this industry.
Guess that's a good.
Yeah. Who knows? You might be like up there, but you know, we haven't analyzed all the power industry couples yet out here in Sacramento, but I definitely would think you guys would be in that conversation for sure.
Right.
Dope. Okay, so now, man, you and your wife, you guys are moving and stuff. Like, what? Anything else going on, or?
That's pretty much it. We just, you know, we do a lot of weddings every year.
Okay.
We do, you know, people always hire us to come out, you know what I mean, to do different events. But we can pretty much do any type of event you want. We can make a room, change it to whatever you want. You know, we could take a plain room and turn it into something amazing.
Wow.
So it just depends on what you want, what your budget. Your budget can get you what you need.
Yeah, real talk.
For real.
And that's dope, man. Hey, yeah, I mean, you've been working, bro, and you know, and we heard the story, man. It's a dope story, man, and that's one of the reasons why we got you here at GINO, is because, man, we want to make sure that we let the people know and recognize all your hard work that you've been doing through these decades at DJing and your progress through life. So we want to make sure that we gave you all your flowers, bro. You know what I'm saying? All your props, all your blessings. You know what I'm saying? And just really appreciate everything that you did for this Sacramento, Stockton, Bay Area community, West Coast, you feel what I'm saying? So everybody, man, that's watching this, let it be known that we was in here, y'all, with Sacramento, Stockton, pioneer DJ GINO, y'all. One love, y'all.
Much love, fam. Yay.
One love. Hey, we in here.
For sure.